Good job. Ông xin lỗi nhầm ra, là tập bông bậc cả mình to cách đầm đà ca để tiện thi.
The court is now back in session.
Cả pi một số mình ông nhầm ra bàn
yesterday
nâng đó phía kỳ đằng sau thiện
the chamber advised parties and the public that this morning the chamber would continue to hear the testimony of Mr. Clan Fit, who is a civil party in the proceedings. And in the afternoon, we are going to resume hearing or questioning the accused Nguyen Chia. Given the fact that Mr. Clan Fit is not able to attend this morning's hearing due to his health condition, the chamber decided to postpone the hearing of the testimony of this witness. And the hearing of Mr. Clan Fit's testimony will be resumed at a later date, which the trial chamber would advise the parties and the public accordingly. Secondly, as planned, the chamber has scheduled to hear the testimony of two civil parties at the first segment of trial. So this morning, the trial chamber decides to hear the civil party testimony TCCP 123. Since this civil party is present at the ECCC already. Thirdly, due to the changes yesterday, the trial chamber expects that we would hear witness TCW 395, but we could not hear this witness because of his health condition. That's why the trial chamber decided to defer the hearing of the testimony by this witness. And the trial chamber is prepared to hear this witness by video link. Given his advancing age and poor health condition, he was not able to testify at this morning. So from now on, the trial chamber would hear the witness TCW 395 by video means. Taking into account this witness health condition, the hearing of this witness may continue until tomorrow. Fourth, the continued questioning of the accused Nguyen Chia, which commenced yesterday, we plan to resume the questioning this afternoon, but due to the recent development, the trial chamber decide to defer the questioning of the accused, Nunchi and the other two accused, to a later date, unless otherwise other circumstances arise. A chamber reserves the right to revise the schedule of this testimony hearing. Court officer is now instructed to invite TCCP 123 to come to court.
Mr. President, before the witness comes in, if I may, or the civil party comes in, if I may make one observation. It's my understanding that yesterday, after the civil party testified partially and then there was a recess, the civil party then began mingling with others where they were cheering him on and patting him basically for doing a nice job done. I think whether it's a civil party or a witness, once they begin testifying, they should have no further contact with anyone else until they finish testifying. The matter is not whether they're a civil party or a witness. And I think that would be standard practice with every single witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Defense Counsel, for your observation. The Chamber advised parties in relation to this subject matter may be pursuant to Rule 88.3. 88.2. So we facilitate with the VESU in order to facilitate this process so as to ensure favorable results in accordance with the applicable provision before the court. That the large-scale and complex case before us, as well as the observation by the members of public as well. So we, from time to time, unable to stick to everything that we have a plan to do. So we will have to advise the VESU to organize this accordingly in relation to the management of the participation of witnesses and civil parties in the future proceedings. But before I give the floor to parties, I would like to remind the parties that this morning we are going to hear civil party Romam Jun, and it will take the whole morning this morning. The international co-prosecutor, you may now proceed.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I would like to inform the Chamber now, and as well as the parties, that the Office of the Co-Prosecutors would like to examine witness TCBW 395 on the entire case 002 case file, and not only on the first trial segment. And this is for exceptional reasons relating to the very precarious health status of the witness. This has been expressed in writing. You've told us that the witness's health status is very fragile and that the witness cannot travel and that his health status is deteriorating on a daily basis. But the witness is in a position to testify nevertheless, and we think it would be better for the witness to testify on the whole case file, that is 002, because the witness may not be able to do so later. So if you grant our request, we would need to adjust our schedule in order not to wear out the witness. We would have wished to have more time allotted to the parties to enable them to prepare examination of the witness on all issues relating to case 002, the entire case. Whether the witness is testifying today or tomorrow, we would rely on your decision. Generally speaking, we are of the view that in the case of the fragile physical or mental health status of a patient, and I'm thinking of memory lapses, such circumstances may justify having the parties examine the witness not only on trial segment 1 but on the entire case 002 to avoid a situation in which the health status of the witness would deteriorate such that you won't be able to examine him or her later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, if I may be heard. And again, good morning, Your Honors, and good morning to everyone in and around the court. I think these applications need to be made well in advance, and the reasoning that are stated here today were stated back in the informal trial management meeting. And there's no need to go into this on each and every occasion to lobby to the trial chamber in front of the public. And I believe that is what is happening here. If they want to go into the entire case 002, they need to ask well in advance, state their reasoning, and state with specificity which parts of the indictment they wish to go into, to allow the other parties to respond. I leave it to your discretion, because far be it from me to try to deny anyone, whether it be a witness or a civil party, from giving evidence in this court. But I do feel that I'm somewhat sabotaged today and ambushed with these sorts of requests at the last moment. I strongly suggest, Mr. President and Your Honors, that you urge the prosecution and the civil parties and the rest of the parties that if they wish to go outside the parameters that you have set, that they seek leave well in advance and allow the parties the opportunity to be heard. It is fair and it is proper, and it will assist all of us in making sure that we can not waste, that we don't waste time in court with these sorts of requests. We should be here taking evidence, not dealing with procedural issues. Thank you.
The President, we should not continue the exchange. Is your name Romam Yun? Response. Yes, Your Honor, my name is Romam Yun. The President. Is Kampi your real alias name? Response. Yes, it is, Your Honor. I have two names, Kampi and Romam Yun. Question. How old are you? Response. 70. The President. 70. That's that. Question. Where were you born? Response. I was born in Kachut village. The President. In which commune and district? Response. Andong Mia district. Ratanakiri province. Question. Where do you live? Response. I live in the same place, Your Honor. Question. What is your occupation? Response. I do farming. I have nothing else to do. Question. Are you married? Response. Yes, I am. Question. How many children have you got? Response. I have 4 children, all boys. According to Rule 91, piece of the internal rules of the ECCC, and according to the memorandum already communicated to the parties dated on the 23rd of January 2011, lead co-lawyers will be now given the floor to proceed with the questioning to the civil party. The floor is yours. Counsel Pick Ong, Mr. President, Your Honor, lead co-lawyers would like to ask that Counsel Ming Key put the question to his own client and followed by his colleague. The President, your request is granted, but please be reminded that we will only hear the civil party this morning session, so lead co-lawyers will be given only 45 minutes to put questions to the civil party. Kuminki. Thank you, Mr. President, Your Honors, and the Court. First of all, before I begin putting the questions to the civil party, allow me to inform the Court with regard to the submission we already filed concerning Mr. Romam Yun alias Kampi. He has some problems with memory. He perhaps cannot recall every detail that we wished him to tell the Court, and because he is not well literate and he has health issue as well. On behalf of the civil parties, we also hope that the Chamber will also advise other parties to make sure that their questions are as simple and short as possible and before putting to him, and try not to interrupt his course of testimony if possible. I would like now to proceed with the first question to Mr. Romam Yun. Could you please tell us in details your situation before 1975, what you did and where you lived? Response. During the Khmer Rouge, I'm not able to remember the details, but I will do my best to recollect what I can remember. With the Khmer Rouge, I cannot say that my work with the Khmer Rouge is right or wrong. But the political line was not proper. It was not right. The problem is that we had no rights to contest, to complain. And this is what I witnessed. Secondly, with regard to the practical issues, the Khmer Rouge were too extreme and they violated human rights. They used community forces unwisely. Everyone was gathered, young, adolescent, or elderly people, people with children. Everyone was gathered to work. If we did not work, we would not be given food to eat, or we had nothing to eat, in other words. This political line was too radical. It was meant to make people suffer, to make people work too hard without proper or enough a break. People became very exhausted. Even we were very sick, we had to be compelled to continue working without any complaint. With regard to the political stance, we were influenced by their political propaganda. Young people, old people, women, men and children had to work. We had to work as hard as an animal which was or that were ordered to work. We were treated more like pigs that they could sell at any moment they wished. Thirdly, there was no proper stance on the side of the Khmer Rouge to protect human rights, to have some sympathy toward their own people. They seemed to do whatever they wished, arbitrarily. I could say that the policy was too extreme. Fourth, they were like our parents. They supposed to educate us, to treat us well. Instead, they imprisoned us. They treated us badly. This is what I witnessed. I can say that people were not well taken care of. They mistreated everyone indiscriminately rather. The President, could you please listen to the question put to you by Council? And indeed the Chamber is informed already by your Council that questions should be shorter and precise. But now you seem to have responded to the question which is short, but the response itself is very long. So could the Council be now advised to rephrase the question so that it is shorter and that the response should be more precise? Council Menki, you responded to my question. I asked about your situation before 1975. Could you please reiterate your status and what you did and where you lived before 1975? Response. At the beginning, I worked as a messenger during the Pol Pot regime. I carried mails to senior cadres. Then I worked as the commune committee, managing several other tasks as assigned to me by the upper echelon. I was tasked with uniting people, improving the solidarity among the people in the village. When I was able to manage the village very well, I was asked to step up to the commune management level. I worked there for 2 years. Because at that time there were not enough people, and I myself was asked to also join the workforce to help the work, and I was appointed. I did not really wish to do that, but I was assigned to do the work for them. I managed the commune and village affairs. There was a plan to sweep clean the village or commune. I asked them, how could we sweep clean the villages or commune if there was no grass? And they said, well, this means that sweeping clean means to get rid of those who were not good and leaving only the good. And I was surprised because I have never encountered such phenomenon. Because when I was asked to do that, later I was asked why I did not attend meetings. I really failed to attend the meeting because I was reluctant to join the meetings.
Thưa nó thưa nơi na ông thưa nó khùng na nơi sọc na nơi khẹt na anh cả nóng á
bà
I worked in my own commune on Dong Mia district. Kachut village. Nyang commune. These places were the places I worked at. I didn't work elsewhere. Question. Thank you. I would like to proceed to another question. You said you worked as a messenger. Could you please tell the court who did you work for? Response. I carried mails in villages to the senior people in the communes, for example. And I once had to go all the way to the Vietnamese Cambodian border to carry the mails to them. Question. Could you tell us who were the recipients of the mails you carried to? Response. I had to carry the mails or letters to communes. I brought the letters to one at the zone. He was the committee of the zone. He was known as one. Question. Could you please tell us in which zone one worked at? Response. He worked at the northeastern zone. Northeast. Question. Did you ever happen to know what the letters were about? Response. I have no idea because the content of the letters were confidential and it was none of my business to know any detail of the content of them. Question. Could you tell us how could you know that these letters could be delivered to one or from one, the committee of the zone? Response. I was supposed to send those letters to communes or districts. Response. I knew that letters would be sent to one because he was working near us, because he had his messenger who also worked with us. Question. Do you remember any names of the messenger of one? Response. I don't remember their names. I only presented or delivered the letters, and they took the letters, and that's all. Question. Could you clarify whether one, the person whom you referred to earlier on, had another name other than that? Response. I have never known that one could have been another person. I only knew him previously as one. I just learned that he has another new name now. Question. Thank you. I would like to proceed to another question with regard to your work within the village. When you indicated that you were asked to work or manage the village or commune, does that mean you were appointed or you already installed automatically as village chief from the beginning? Response. The village was established. At that time, my predecessors was Pawn, who was the chief of the village. As I indicated at the beginning, there was a village chief already, and they had meetings, and I was not the village chief automatically. Question. As the village chief, who did you report to? Response. Another village chief appointed by Angka. He would come to contact me with regard to some work because he had to work with me to manage the forces in the village. Question. When you refer to the Angka, what was it? Response. This Angka appointed by the commune. It was a committee. There were Won, Yon, two people who were in the committee. I was still managing the village level. Question. What were you supposed to do managing that village? Response. I was tasked with doing farming, solving local issues. Question. Could you please tell the court how was the tax assigned? Response. We were asked to improve solidarity among our people in the village, to do farming, to clean or to clear grasses, the weeds, for example. Question. Had people not been united or improved the solidarity at the early stage that you were asked to really think about it? Response. People were divided at the beginning, and that's why Angka asked us to make sure that people are united and that solidarity among people would be encouraged. And we asked to do farming together. Question, could you please elaborate on the solidarity work? Response. Solidarity means we had to help one another doing farming. For example, if we finished our planting rice on our fields and that the other people did not yet finish their transplant or production, then we helped them. So it is a mutual help. Because we need to help one another very quick before it is too late for the rice season, for example. Question. Thank you. Could you also tell us, after you became a village chief before 1975, what position did you hold after that, and who appointed you to hold that position? Response. The representative of the communes would appoint me. Indeed, the commune committee appointed me as the village chief. The persons who appointed me were the senior people at the commune committee. Question, could you please elaborate further with regard to the senior commune committee? Who were they? Response. There were Hun, he already died. Another person who passed away, and a new person was recruited. Then later on another person recruited, and it keeps going on. In the commune committee, there were officials who appointed members of the committee and the commune chief. In the village, there were no people who would be able to lead the village, manage the village. That's why I was installed as first the village chief and the community chief, monitoring two places at the same time. Question. Can you explain to us concerning the structure of Northeast Zone? Who were in the structure of the Northeast Zone? Response. The current structure of Northeast Zone were Kim Min-ki interrupts. Could you please just tell us in detail the structure of Northeast Zone from the beginning? I mean, previously and currently. Response. The person who was in charge of the Northeast Zone, at that time I did not know whether he was also called the governor or provincial committee, then a new person was appointed. When the former or predecessor had to go, then the successor had to be recruited. They called it a revolution. They called it a revolution. They told us that it was part of the revolution, that they had to have a committee for the commune, committee for the district, and for other upper level. Actually, at that time, the person who was in charge in the committee was me alone. I didn't remember any other people. Question. Thank you. I wish to interrupt you at this point and move to another question. During your revolutionary struggle, did you remember how many times were you called to attend meetings? Response. I cannot remember how many times I attended meetings because there were a lot of meetings. We were asked to join the meeting so that we would be educated on how to manage people, to do farming. Question. Could you tell us a little bit about the meetings you still recollect? Who called you to the meeting and what were you supposed to do in the meeting? Response. During the revolution, the new revolution, there were people from the zone committee. The person named Wan. He was a very senior person and well built. He was called Wan. He was Cambodian, but his appearance, his physical appearance is more like a Westerner, a Barang. Question. Could you please tell me about the meetings? What was the meeting about? Response. In the meetings, topics of farming, of proper conduct would be discussed. Question. Did you have any or did you attend any other meetings? Response. I would just go to any meeting after I was called. I just had to attend the meetings. Apart from the meetings, we were asked to meet them when new plans were to be implemented in the village, in the commune. Plans relating to farming, solidarity, health issue, and also how to solve problems properly. Question. Earlier on, you said that you were called to attend meeting where plans would be discussed, and you also talked about sweep clean situation. Could you please elaborate on this? What was it about? Response. Sweep clean here means to make sure that we do the work clean in the village, keep the work in a proper way, for example. Question. What other matters were being discussed during the meeting or decided by the meetings? Response. It was part of the revolution. The plans were part of the course of the revolution. We were advised that if, for example, in some villages where there were shortcomings, then we would have to help them to strengthen the committee. Question. What happened to people who did something deviating from the designed plans? Response. I think they would be very mad at us. If we could not do the job, we would be rid of, or we would be dismissed. These plans were discharged by people named Ya Thuch, for example. That's the second plan. When we could not do our work properly, we would be accused of being enemies. So any cadres in any particular village who could not perform their duty very well, they would be, or they would end up being accused of being enemies. If we could do it, then we would be spared. Otherwise, we would be killed because we were accused of being against the revolution. Question. You were talking about enemy, and what did they do with the alleged enemy? And you said that they would take the enemy out. What do you mean by that? Answer. Sometimes those people were imprisoned or detained. And sometimes they were taken out into the forest. They might have been killed in the forest because they were mad, because we could not meet the plan. At that time, they were really mad
since we could not meet the target. And everyone was very quiet. We just kept mum. We did not say anything at all. We were very frightened. The village was very quiet because everyone well understood that if they said anything wrong, they would be accused of against the revolution. Question? Thank you. Can you recall that the staff member of the co-investigating judges went down to your village and talked with you? Answer. Yes, I met with them. Yes, the investigator went to meet me in my village. Question? When they interview you, you mentioned about your roles after 1975 when Pol Pot came to power. So, what did they appoint you after 1975?
Excuse me.
Answer. I could recollect some of the events. I remember that they appointed me to be the village committee. Mr. President, the Defense Counsel, you may now proceed.
Sorry, the co-lawyer for the civil party is referring to an interview which I'm not familiar with. I know of one interview, but that took place in the victim unit in Phnom Penh and not in the village of the civil party. Maybe that's a document I'm not aware of. It would be helpful if the number of the document is mentioned, if the victim or the lawyer refers to it. Thank you.
Civil party lawyers, could you please indicate the document number? Lawyer. Thank you, Mr. President. Document D208/3.2. And this document was this statement was taken by Mr. Swai Samnang, the investigator, and Mr. Bagna Brond on the 8th of July 2009. And this statement was already in the is already in the case file. Mr. President, so you may now proceed with your questions, but please be reminded that you have only 5 minutes left. Lawyer for civil party. Thank you, Mr. President. Can you elaborate your roles after 1975? Answer. I could tell some of the work I did, and I actually did work as I was assigned to do. After 1975, I work in the village. I handle day-to-day tasks in the village, and I helped facilitate the farmings. I led the farmers in the village to do farming and plantations, and I encouraged them to strengthen solidarity in planting rice as well as other plantation. And if anything went wrong, we would use the UNCA regulation to handle the problems. And most importantly, I had to try to encourage people to be more productive and to obtain a high yield for cultivation. Question. My last question for you. When you joined the resistance movements, what were the advantages and disadvantages of being members of this resistance movement? Answer. When I first joined the revolution, we cultivated the crops and other plantation, and actually the plant was grown very well, and it yields and blossom as well, but it was fruitless. So by analogy, the policy of that was very good, but it did not yield in any good thing for the people. For example, they would execute people if people did anything wrong, or they went against the UNCA, and then they would be subject to execution. So again, by analogy, the tree trunk is very healthy, very good, but it bears no fruit. In addition, the situation was mixed up, and we did not know who was who. It was actually confusing. People did not know their own parents or siblings. The son would beat his own father. So I thought that it was not a good policy. Now I think that in the present day, we have good seeds, the seeds that are growing very well for the next generation. But at that time, of course, the educated people were killed, so we did not have anything. Mr. President, well, is that all for your question, civil party lawyers? Mr. Pech Ong. I am sorry, Mr. President. I did not intend to interrupt the proceedings, but after listening to the questioning of the civil parties, I observed that the civil party is fatigued or tired. Would you mind letting the civil party to have a 5 minutes break before we resume the questioning, Mr. President? Thank you. It is now appropriate to take a 20-minute recess from now. And we will resume at 20 to 11.
Som Jane Croucher.